Lakshmipati Tirtha was staying in one residence. Nityananda Prabhu was hiding from him. But one night in a dream, his worshipable Lord Balaram appeared and said, tomorrow, first thing in the morning, a young devotee is going to come to you and ask you for initiation. You should give him this mantra. And Balaram gave him the mantra. Lakshmipati Tirtha was in great ecstasy. The next morning he woke up and first thing, Nityananda Prabhu comes into the room, offers his prostrated obeisances, and with folded hands says, give me initiation. He gave him the mantra. Somehow or other, Lakshmipati Tirtha just loved his disciple so dearly. And Nityananda Prabhu did menial services for him. The next night, he had another dream where he saw Nityananda. He saw his deity, Balaram, transform into Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And then he realized that Nityananda Prabhu was actually Balaram himself. In great transcendental love, he left that place and fixed his mind, his life, his soul, everything at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, and soon passed from this world. Another time in Western India, Lord Nityananda Prabhu met with Sripad Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri was an ocean, an ecstatic ocean of love of God. When they first met, they embraced. Torrents of tears poured from both of their eyes as they both fell to the ground unconscious. Ishwara Puri, Brahmananda Puri, and the other disciples of Madhavendra Puri had never ever seen such a loving relationship as this. When they finally came to consciousness, Lord Nityananda said, today, all my years of performing pilgrimage has borne fruit because I have seen the unparalleled love of Madhavendra Puri. The love between these two great souls cannot be explained in words. For many days, they just discussed Krishna with each other in transcendental ecstasy. They could not leave each other, even for a moment. Madhavendra Puri, he said that wherever Lord Nityananda Prabhu goes, that is the holiest of all holy places. I have never seen ecstatic love of God like that within the heart of Nityananda. Anyone who even hears the name of Nityananda will attain Krishna. And anyone who is envious of Nityananda will be rejected by Krishna. Madhavendra Puri also gave shiksha, and some say also diksha, to Nityananda Prabhu. He was the primary guru of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. How could these two loving associates ever part from one another? It was only possible because each of them knew their mission ultimately to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Eventually, Nityananda Prabhu came to Vrindavan. where he decided, I will wait till my Lord begins the Nam Sankirtan movement. Then I will go to Navadvip. In Vrindavan, he stayed near the bank of the Yamuna at a place that is now Shringar Bhat or Nityananda Bhat. He would play all day in the river Yamuna, splashing waters, playing with cows, playing with the children who were cowherd boys. He would roll around in the sand, playing so many games with them, constantly immersed in remembering his Leela as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. He was so immersed in his Gopa Leela with Krishna that he never even ate or slept. If somebody brought a little milk unsolicited, he would drink it. All the while waiting for his brother, Krishna, to begin the Nam Sankirtan movement. When he realized within his heart that Lord Gaur Sundar had returned from Gaya after receiving initiation from Ishwara Puri and had inaugurated the Harinam Sankirtan party in the house of Srivas, Nityananda Prabhu left. He left Vrindavan for Sri Navadvip Dham. And just next door, he secretly stayed in the house of Nandan Acharya. Nandan Acharya was a very pure-hearted devotee who was so happy to meet Lord Nityananda. Meanwhile, nobody knew who he was or that he had come. But Lord Gauranga, he was telling his associates, in a few days, a great personality is coming to Navadvip. And one day after performing his puja in his home, he came to meet all of his devotees and told them, I had a dream. In this dream, I saw a chariot. Not an ordinary chariot, but a chariot that can transport a person out of this material world to the spiritual world. The chariot had a flag with the insignia of a palm tree upon it. On that chariot was a very large, beautiful man. He held a mace and a plow. He had a lovely complexion. He wore a blue turban and blue garments. He had a golden earring in his ear. His big lotus-like eyes rolled as if intoxicated. That chariot came right in front of my house. And this personality, who looked to me to be Lord Balaram himself, he spoke, "Is this the house of Nimai Pandit?" Again and again, 10 or 20 times, he repeated, "Is this the house of Nimai Pandit?" I approached that great, powerful, beautiful personality and said, "You are such a great person. Please tell me, who are you? Do I know you?" And that man said to me, "I am your brother. Tomorrow we will meet and get to know each other again." Lord Chaitanya then went into an ecstatic mood. He became like Balaram. He cried out, bring me Varuni, bring me Varuni." The devotees didn't know what to do. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "A great personality has come to Navadvip. Srivas, Haridas Thakur, go everywhere, throughout Navadvip, and search for this great soul and bring him back to me. Haridas Thakur and Srivas Thakur took this order as their life and soul. They went to every house, to every bathing ghat, to every shop, to every marketplace, everywhere. For 9 hours they searched. But they didn't find anything. They returned to Lord Gauranga and said, we went everywhere, but we can't find who you're looking for. The Lord smiled. He was thinking that Nityananda Prabhu will not be found unless he reveals himself. He said, come with me, we will find him. Following Lord Chaitanya, they went to the house of Nandanacharya. Nityananda Prabhu was sitting on a veranda. Lord Chaitanya and all the devotees offered their prostrated obeisances to him. As soon as Lord Nityananda Prabhu saw the beautiful form of Gauranga, his eternal master, his life and soul, his ultimate only worshipable object, Nityananda Prabhu was stunned. He went into a trance. Every one of his senses were just absorbing Lord Chaitanya. His tongue was licking Lord Chaitanya. His eyes were drinking in the form of Lord Chaitanya. His arms were embracing Lord Chaitanya. His nose was absorbing the form of Lord Chaitanya. Nityananda Prabhu was just in a trance. Then Lord Chaitanya told Srivas Thakur to recite a particular verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which describes Krishna, that were cascading and circling his beautiful moon-like face. He had a Vajayanti garland, wild forest flowers that were extending below his knees. He had garments, golden like lightning. This form of Gopal, playing with his friends and with his cows, played beautiful songs upon his flute as he returned to the village of Vrindavan. When Nityananda Prabhu heard this, he fell unconscious. There was no symptoms of life, practically. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Srivas, go on reciting, go on reciting. He continued reciting these beautiful slokas from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Nityananda Prabhu that went, nobody had ever seen such ecstatic symptoms. He was uncontrolled with tears and horripilations and trembling and rolling on the ground and roaring in ecstasy the names of Krishna. Nobody could hold him still. But then the Lord Chaitanya took Nityananda Prabhu on his lap, and Nityananda Prabhu became peaceful. The devotees were thinking, this is like Ram and Lakshman have been reunited. Another said they have a relationship like Lord Hari and Lord Shiva. Gadadhar Pandit said, just see, Ananta Shesha is usually the bed of Krishna, of Vishnu. But now Ananta Shesha's pride has been crushed. Now he is laying down in the bed of Lord Chaitanya. The two brothers embraced and soaked each other with the tears of their love. Lord Chaitanya asked Nityananda Prabhu, tomorrow is Vyas Puja. Where would you like it to be celebrated? Nityananda Prabhu held the hand of Srivas and said, in his house. Lord Chaitanya said, this is a big responsibility for you, Srivas. Srivas said, I already have all the scriptures describing how it is to be done. I will collect the ingredients easily and we will do it. They went back to Lord Nitya, to Srivas's house, And there in Srivasangam, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began the kirtan. It was on that day that Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya first danced together to the congregational chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Even the greatest acharyas admit that they cannot even begin to describe adequately the beauty of the first dance of Nitai Gauranga together. The love that they shared for Krishna as they chanted the holy names, and as devotees watched, the perfection of all their heart's desires were totally fulfilled by seeing Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda finally united in the Leela to inaugurate Nam Sankirtan throughout the world. Lord Nityananda Prabhu remained at the house of Srivas that night. The next day came the Vyas Puja. The ceremonies were being performed. The culmination is to place the garland on the deity of Vyasadeva. Srivas Thakur gave the garland to Nityananda Prabhu. Said, now, at this moment, garland Vyasadeva. Nityananda Prabhu stood holding the garland and said, yes, yes. Srivas said, please garland Vyasadeva. Nityananda Prabhu, yes, yes. It's time to put the garland on Vyasadeva. Yes, yes. Finally, Srivas went to Lord Chaitanya and said, your Nityananda Prabhu is saying yes, yes, but he's not garlanding Vyasadeva. Lord Chaitanya went to Nityananda Prabhu and said, Nitai, put the garland on Vyasadeva. Lord Nityananda looked up at Lord Chaitanya and placed the garland on the head of Lord Gauranga. It was so charming to see those flowers decorating the beautiful, beautiful silken black hair of Lord Chaitanya. And the Lord was so pleased that right before Nityananda Prabhu's eyes, he manifested Sadbhuja, six-armed form. This particular six-armed form that Lord Nityananda Prabhu saw had the four symbols of Vishnu: the lotus flower, the club, the chakra, and the kanksha. And the other two arms held the paraphernalia of Balaram, a plow and a mace. When Nityananda Prabhu saw this, he fell unconscious in transcendental ecstasy. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought him back to consciousness. Nityananda Prabhu, he went mad with love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu upon seeing this inconceivable form. Anyone who hears this narration of Lord Chaitanya showing the six-armed form to Nityananda Prabhu will attain Nityananda Prabhu's unlimited mercy. But we must hear with faith, eagerness, and attention accordingly. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then said, now the Vyas Puja is complete. Let us perform Nam Sankirtan. They performed Kirtan the entire day. And how they were dancing. Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sometimes Lord Nityananda Prabhu was light like a feather. Sometimes every time he put his foot down, the entire house and everything started to tilt. Lord Chaitanya was dancing and jumping in the air and touching his feet to his head. No one had ever seen such love. The two brothers dancing together all the way till night. Then the Lord said, now let us have the Vyas Puja Mahaprasad. In this way, the Nam Sankirtan movement was established here in Navadvip. Soon after this, one day, Sachi Mata, she confidentially approached her son and said, I had a dream last night. Very, very extraordinary dream, but I do not understand what it means. Please tell me the dream. She said, I saw yourself and Nityananda, but you were both 5-year-old children, and you were playing all sorts of games and running around. And all of a sudden, you just ran right into the house and ran right into the deity room and the two of you picked up the deities on the altar of Krishna and Balaram and came running off the altar with them. Krishna Balaram deities, they became alive. They said, where are you taking us? Put us back on the altar. And why you're taking all of our boga? And Nityananda Prabhu yelled at them. He said, your days are gone. He said, all these sweets, these laddus, these rasgullas, all the cream and yogurt and ghee products, they now belong to Lord Gauranga. Balaram, Krishna, they said, who do you think you are? Balaram said, my Lord is Krishna. He is the supreme of all lords. What right do you have to take what belongs to him? We will tie you up, we will punish you, and nobody will blame us for that. And Nityananda, little Nityananda, 5-year-old boy, he said, the days of you being cowherd boys, stealing butter from the gopas are gone. Now you are Brahmins. My Lord is Vishwambar, and therefore I have no fear of anything. All these sweets, all this boga, everything now belongs to Lord Gauranga. And then they started fighting over the sweets and fighting over the boga. And then Nityananda Prabhu called out to me, Mata, Mata, feed me. And then the dream ended. She asked Lord Chaitanya, what does this dream mean? Lord Chaitanya said, this is a very good dream. This dream has given me faith. Because you see, sometimes when I would see my wife, Lakshmi Priya, she would offer boga to the deities. And sometimes not all the boga was there. I suspected she must be eating some of it. But now I know that Krishna Balaram are eating it themselves. Our deities are alive, our deities are there. This is a very good dream. He said it so loud that Lakshmi Priya could hear. And she was smiling, laughing, feeling very nice. Lord Chaitanya said to Sachi Mata, I think Nityananda Prabhu is hungry. We should invite him for prasad. Sachi Mata said, I will cook, you invite him. Lord Chaitanya went to Lord Nityananda. He said, it is not, Sachi Mata is inviting you for prasad at my house today, but please behave nicely. Nityananda said, what? I always behave nicely. You're the one that doesn't behave nicely. And they went to the house, along with Gadadhar and other intimate associates. They sat down on the floor. Sachimata cooked wonderful, wonderful feast prasad. And when she brought the prasad in to personally serve them, she saw Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. They turned into two little 5-year-old children, not even wearing clothes. And Lord Chaitanya, he now had a darkish complexion, the complexion of Krishna. And he had 4 arms holding the symbols of Vishnu. And Nityananda Prabhu had a beautiful, beautiful white complexion with a plow in his hand. When Sachimata saw this, these 2 little babies, Krishna and Balaram, tears poured from her eyes. Her hair stood on end. She dropped the whole plate of prasad on the ground. And she fell unconscious. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, immediately he got up, he washed his hands, and he ran to Sachimata and lifted her up and said, "What happened, mother? What happened?" And she could not say a word. She was just weeping, and she tied her hair back up and went into her room and simply cried in ecstasy, while her servant Ishan picked up all the food that fell on the floor and ate it himself. Vrindavan Das Thakur said no one was so fortunate like Ishan, because he would see things like this every day, assisting Sachimata in her service to her son. We discussed the other day how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the orders to Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas to spread his message to everyone throughout Navadvip. Eventually, the Lord decided to take sannyas. The first person he told was Nityananda Prabhu. He was blissful. Because what happened is he was chanting Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. Because he understood in the mood of Krishna, he worshipped the gopis. He was subordinate to the gopis. The gopis' love even conquers Krishna. Lord Chaitanya was glorifying the gopis, and one Brahmin said, "Why are you chanting Gopi, Gopi? Where does it say chant Gopi, Gopi? You should chant Krishna's name." And he said, "Krishna!" And he became in the mood of a devotee. He said, "Why should I worship Krishna? He has..." And then he began to discuss so many things that Krishna had done. And he chased after that Brahmin with stick. Little boy. No, not little boy, but young student. And he began to be criticized. Another time, just before that, one Brahmin who was not allowed in Srivasa's house cursed Lord Chaitanya. He said, "Because you would not allow me to see your kirtan in Srivasa's house, I curse you that you will be separated from your family and lose your home." And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Thank you very much." He said to Lord Nityananda Prabhu on this day, he said, "Nitai, I'm going to shave my head, put on the saffron garments of a sannyasi, and roam the world." Nityananda Prabhu was shocked. He said, "Whatever you do, my Lord, is perfect. You are the independent Supreme Lord of everything, but please consider, what about your mother Sachi? And what about your devotees? You'll break their hearts." Knowing that the Lord would do this, Nityananda Prabhu went to a private place and simply wept incessant tears, thinking about how this would affect Sachi Mata. The Lord Nityananda Prabhu went to Katha to help perform the sannyas ceremonies for Lord Chaitanya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, immediately after taking sannyas, we only have 5 more minutes because Govinda Maharaj is singing Damodarastakam, and I would be very offensive to keep you from that. How you'll all fit in the temple is another question. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately started running to Vrindavan. But it was Lord Nityananda Prabhu who understood the plight of all the devotees in Navadvip who had heard the shocking news that Lord Chaitanya had left home, left Navadvip to become a sannyasi. They were all on the verge of death. One example. They went to Advaitacharya. He was the leader of all the Vaishnavas. What should we do? Advaitacharya said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to the Ganges to drown myself. And if anyone tries to stop me, then I'll just do it in the middle of night when you're sleeping. And all the devotees said, we're not going to stop you. We're doing it with you. It was serious. And they all went to the Ganges for this purpose. Then a voice spoke from the sky and said, do not do this. Within a few days, you'll be dancing with Lord Gauranga once again. And how is that possible? Because Nityananda Prabhu, he knew the heart of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord wanted to go to Vrindavan, but ultimately his desire was to please his devotees. So Nityananda Prabhu had one cowherd boy give Lord Chaitanya wrong directions. Instead of directing him to the Yamuna in Vrindavan, he directed him to Ganga in Shantipur. And there Lord Chaitanya was reunited with his mother Sachi Devi and all the devotees. And Sachi Mata requested, please, Lord Krishna is living in Puri as Lord Jagannath. Go there, because then I will always hear about your welfare, and your devotees could go to see you regularly. On the request of his mother, he went on the journey to Puri with Nityananda Prabhu. One day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took his bath Mahanadi River, and he was going to see and he gave Nityananda Prabhu his danda to hold. Lord Nityananda Prabhu took that danda and broke it in 3 places, threw it in the river. Lord Chaitanya came out of his bath, went to Kapoteshwar Mahadev temple, came out, and said, Nitai, give me my danda. Nityananda Prabhu, before he broke the danda, he spoke to the danda. Would you like to hear what he said? He said to the danda, it's wrong that he who I carry in my heart has to carry you. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati gives a very wonderful explanation that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had an Ekadanda sannyasi for the purpose of preaching, because that was the prominent sampradaya that people respected at the time. But Lord Nityananda Prabhu made it into a tridanda. Ekadanda means the soul and God are one. Tridanda means we are eternal servant of God. And we offer our body, our mind, our words, and our very life in the devotional service of the Lord. And also, Lord Chaitanya was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was beyond Paramhamsa. It was painful to the heart of Lord Nityananda Prabhu to see him following these strict rules and regulations of a sannyasi. So Lord Chaitanya, he said, my Dhamma is, all the demigods are living in that Dhamma. You broke it. I will not go to Puri with you. Go before or after. Lord Chaitanya went first. We only have 1 more minute. It was there that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had Nityananda Prabhu dancing in the kirtan of the Ratha Yatra, and eventually ordered him, go back to Bengal to preach. Like a madman. You should induce everyone and anyone, from the aristocrats to the most sinful and fallen people. Give them love of Krishna through the chanting of Krishna's holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And the best part of the story is just now, but we should all go to Damodar Astaka. His Grace His Holiness Bhakti Bringa Govinda Maharaj and his musicians, devotees from Kazakhstan will be singing the prayers of Satyavat Muni just now in the temple room. But before departing, let us bow our heads in prayer for the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu and his most extraordinary representative who manifested his prowess in an unprecedented way. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, in this spirit of Nityananda Prabhu, brought the holy name of Krishna and Krishna Prema to the world and has saved our lives. Let us offer our sincerest gratitude and pray that we can be sincere instruments